Hi, this is a GMAT question from gmatquestions.org. If k is less than 0, then the square root of the absolute value of k times the absolute value of k is. There are these two ways we can do these questions. The easiest way to do this question is to pick a negative number and work with that. The other way is just to use the definition of the square root and the absolute value. Okay, so we're going to start with that, you doing this mathematically. So first we need to realize that the absolute value of in general x or k, we can call it k here, is equal to k if k is greater or equal to 0. But the absolute value of k is equal to negative k if k is less than 0. This negative sign is there. It doesn't mean that the absolute value of k is a negative number. No, it just means that since k is negative, as you can see here, it's negative. In order to make it positive, we need to apply the negative sign to it. Remember that the absolute value of any entity is positive or 0. It's like a distance. It's never negative. Okay, so once again, negative k here is not a negative number. It's actually a positive number. So once you know this definition of absolute value, then we're gonna use that, to solve the question. I must remind you also of another thing here that is important. If you have k square, the square root of k square, it is equal to k. It is not. We have to make sure we put the absolute value of k, because when you write k alone, we're not sure if k is positive or negative. In order to make sure that it is positive, we put the absolute value. And by the way, it could be 0 also. And this is by definition, by convention. The square root of a number has to be a positive or 0, a positive number or 0. It cannot be negative. Okay? For example, the absolute value of 4 is equal to 2. You cannot say it is equal to 2 or negative 2. It's just 2. Okay? So these are mathematical definitions you need to be aware of. Now let's attack this question. So because of this definition we establish, we have k negative. So this should be equal to negative k times negative k. Again, because k is negative, and the absolute value of k in that particular case is negative k. So this is going to be equal to negative k times negative k is just k squared. So we're going to have the square root of k squared. And as you know, we did this already. This is the absolute value of k. And the absolute value of k being negative, is negative k. It's like we're going in circles. Okay? But the correct answer here is a negative k. And as you can see, the correct answer is E. Let's write that down. E is the correct answer. So I'm gonna take advantage of this video also to show you how to do this by picking numbers. I'm gonna do this on the right. So I'm gonna be erasing these definitions, okay, and show you how to do that by picking a number, a negative number in this case. So picking a number, let me change color here. So we're going to pick, for example, k equal -2. Let's avoid -1 a little bit. Let's take -2 as k being negative. In that case, the absolute value of k times absolute value of k, square root of that, is going to be equal to -2. Actually, the absolute value of -2, sorry, here it's not a parenthesis. Let me actually erase this and write it nicer. Okay, it's going to be equal to -2, absolute value of that, times -2. Okay, and this is equal to, obviously, 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 square if you want 4. And the square root of 4, as you know, is 2. Just 2. It's not 2 and -2. As I said earlier, it's just 2. Now what we need to do is to compare what we found here with the answer choices. Remember, we said earlier that k was -2. If k is -2, answer A is going to be equal to -2. Answer B is -1. We cannot change that. Answer C is 1. We cannot change that. Negative root of -2. That is undefined. We cannot have the root of a negative number, by the way. Okay? So D is undefined. E, negative k. K being -2, negative 2 would be 2. So hence E is the answer again, because negative k is equal to what? Negative 2, right there, because k is equal to -2. Negative k is going to be equal to minus -2 if you want, and this is 2. So we can see that E is the only one that matches what we found here by picking a number. Okay, so this reconciles the two different methods. And once again, the correct answer is E. Okay, so two different methods here. It is very clear that the picking a number method is faster. Okay, definitely, if you know how to do that. But it's also important to know how to do this question using math, using the definition, the algebraic definition of the absolute value and the square root. Okay, I highly recommend you know the both method. Thank you for watching. This is a GMAT question from gmatquestions.org.